Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to part 16 and the finale of my Castaway Challenge Season Edition. And if you are returning, welcome back, and it has been a while. I know when we had last left off, they had got all of their things done, and I mentioned that I was thinking of using them for a legacy that I had been working on. Well, I got busy, so I wasn't able to work on the legacy. I have made some more progress. Finally, I actually have some people playtesting it, and the rules are on my Discord because the rules aren't actually finalized. I will show the rules for the first generation on my blog post, but the rest is going to still continue to be on my Discord because it's not been finalized. And in my Facebook group Sims Sanctuary. So I have people in both places are playtesting it, but the living rules link is in my Discord. So if you're interested in playtesting, I will go over it in more detail in the first part of the actual legacy, but you can come join either of those, though actually the Discord is probably the better place to take a look at it and play and share your progress and ask any questions. So, of course, one of the main things I was going to do is share the scoring because that is based off of their skills that they made. So let's just pull up the skills tab. And then, of course, we're going to make it alphabetical, starting with, from the lower to the higher, ascending. And I have a spreadsheet that I will throw up here. I have actually edited the scoring rules a little bit because when I did it, I was kind of focused on the fact that we had 2 Sims. But the challenge says you can use 1 to 4 Sims, and the whole adjusted scoring that I had done was to essentially account for the fact that you could use 1 through 4 and try and make it so that it's kind of equivalent depending on which, regardless of what you used. So I took all of their skills and added them up. I did exclude the research and debate because I kind of wondered if that was not a real skill that they had learned. It has been a while, but I was thinking maybe it wasn't. Because there is a bug where Sims will get random skills that they haven't actually learned. So I'm just eliminating that from both of them and saying that it was 0, but all the rest, I said it was at whatever level is showing there. You can see there for Aidan. I will talk about the other Sims in the household shortly. And there for Iris, again, see the research and debate is right at the bottom and nothing else. The comedy's low, but I know that she would have earned that by probably telling a joke or 2. Anyway, so I will have their score. So essentially you add up the total of their skills, the level they got to, and then you're going to multiply by 4 for the number of Sims you could play this as. Then you take off 10 for every Sim that died, which luckily none did. And then you take that total and you divide it by the number of Sims you played with, i.e. 2. So you're essentially getting a multiplier by 2 to bring it up to the equivalent of 4. And then you deduct half a point for each day they were on the island. And if it's a partial day, it would count as another day. In their case, they did start at 8. But when I actually loaded in, it was still 7 a.m. in the morning. But I've had them harvest before I gathered up their plants to bring with them because they can bring some things with them when they move. Though actually it just occurred to me that it's not going to work very well because I wanted them to bring their garden and things. And because I moved family members onto the island so that they wouldn't get the value, that's not going to happen. Anyway, oh well, I might just see what the value of those things are and cheat and let them have it on the other end because they should be bringing them with them, and I will take the chickens that I put in the family inventory and have them stick into their personal inventory so they can bring them with them. So you'll see their score on the screen, and I think it was 200. I don't know if it was 226. I don't have it in front of me right now, but it was 200 something. So that was how they did. So now they do have some additional Sims here because I added a mother and teen sister for Aidan and a younger brother for Iris. The younger brother is actually going to be joining them probably won't stay with us forever, but is going to join them to start with on their journey. So the basic concept for the legacy, which I will just go over now, is that you're essentially building up the world. So you could bulldoze Oasis Springs and Willow Creek, or you can just get rid of things as you need to move onto them with the respective generations. So it has something familiar with the Drifter Challenge, which is a challenge that I've done, in that each generation starts over with nothing on an empty lot. However, they're not always going to be in the two base game worlds, Oasis Springs and Willow Creek, because we are going to be looking at different packs over the generations. And also, similar to Drifter, at the very beginning, you have no access to any community lots. You have to unlock them by meeting certain goals over various generations. But that is mostly focused in the earlier generations, so that later on you have access to the different lots more so. So right now they have access to nothing, and they will be able to, this generation, unlock things like parks, and I'll go into more detail on the first part because I don't actually have enough there, but the parks is a big one that they'll be able to unlock. And with the first generation, it's optional to make it base game only, or it can be base game with an island living twist, which is what we're going to be doing. So they're actually going to be moving to Sulani and living on the Key Point lot there. And yes, Key Point. I think it's Key Point. It's the one that's is in MapleSimmer and starts empty. So that's where they are going to be starting. And that's kind of really it. So I originally moved family in of Aiden's because I was going to leave them here so that they don't get the value of the island that I then had to take off, so that I have a better feeling for where they actually are on the fortune aspiration, because the value of the island is essentially going to complete the earnings for it, and I didn't want that to happen. And I don't even know if I've ever gone into the fortune aspiration. We could right now, just to see where they are, at least, because I mean, anything they have, they've earned. So they've earned 9,558, or he has earned that, and she's, would have earned a different amount, because I think we just had them sell things and we didn't do yard sales. So, and she already had that, so she's earned 11,000. So I have had her actually on that. So anyways, I am gonna move them to their new lot, so we'll at least see them in their new location before we end this part. But this part will be short because I'll have the next part up hopefully shortly, i.e. the first part of the legacy. So I'll be back. Well, they're here on their new lot, Key Point. I ended up letting them keep their money only, which was what they were going to do, and anything that fit into their personal inventory. Everything else they didn't get to keep, and I decided not to use cheats to give them the value of those items. They had to buy the things themselves, which is why they have very little money left. There is an option here where you repay the value of the lot, but they already paid for the value of the lot when they moved on to it. It was 7,000, and I didn't give them that back either. And they do have a very basic house, and I have their paintings there, some of which are completed. I did buy them a street gallery so we can have a sale to make a little bit of money back so they can start buying some other things. And so I ended up getting them a cheaper fridge and a cheaper couch than what they had, and a cheaper sink. The shower, they got the same one they had. I'd been thinking I might have got them a cheaper one. I did change the holiday items for that. And they got this Gordian cot, which is what Iris's little brother will sleep in, and then I replaced their bed with the same bed that they already had, because I originally was just replacing everything with what they had. And of course I had to get a coop for our chickens, which we brought, and I bought this here. But this barbecue, the easel, like everything else was pretty much like they already had it in their other location. So that is what they're going to be starting with, except for that I'm going to make them start with, after they feed the chickens, so the chickens have some food, I am, for the beginning of the legacy, going to reset it with the making money scenario. So they will actually have even less than they already do, which is not very much. So if you're interested in tuning in to see their journey and their beginning of their legacy, I will be back shortly with that, and I will then go over in more detail what their goals are, and apart from the park, what they're going to be able to place once they meet certain goals. I think it's a gym, but that's going to take a while. But the park they can do still while they're teens if they meet the skills that they need to get. So that is actually going to be it for this Let's Play. Likes and comments are always appreciated, and they really help with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!